pace of technological change is accelerating faster than we ever imagined. In a single year, we now experience more connectivity and shared knowledge than nature achieved in millions of years. Entire networks, once unimaginable, now connect everything and everyone, weaving us into a vast digital tapestry. But then came humans. With the power of language, we unlocked a new kind of evolution, not of biology, but of ideas. Words sparked collaboration, creativity, and the ability to shape our future. Today, we stand on the edge of something even more profound. AI and mixed reality are not merely blurring the lines between the physical and digital, they are gateways to deeper truths. They beckon us to rediscover the essence of our humanity, to reconnect with the roots of the earth and to breathe life into forgotten dreams. An unveiling of hidden corners of our imagination, transforming the invisible into the tangible, weaving the intangible into stories we can share with the world. No longer bound by time, biology, or distance, we're entering an era fueled by creativity, collaboration, and the infinite power of our interconnected minds.
Hi everyone. In the short film you just saw, we want to share an idea that our technology and science are not separate worlds. They belong to the same continuum, each one reflecting the other and shaping how we see, how we feel, how we build reality itself. At Revelium, we believe that AI and mixed reality converge. They just not enhance creativity and they extend consciousness. They allows us to transform into emotion and code into meaning. My name is Niccolò Miranda. I'm the founder of and creative technologies of Revelium, an hybrid think tank and design lab exploring the intersection between art, technology, and culture. My past freelance career has been always a mix of many crafts, from design, direction, and creative technology to no-code tools and animation, shaped by years of experimentation. I had the privilege to work with incredible clients such as Bill Gates, DocuSign, Bulgari, spanning projects that go from WebGL and AI-driven spatial experience. When I started Revelium, we didn't want to build just another design studio. We wanted to create something different, a place where art, technology, and science could finally speak the same language. We are worldwide, decentralized team of designer, technologists, and engineer. Right, you guys? Let's see. Oh, here. Our mission is simple, is to take digital beyond the screen. We believe that the new era of technology should feel like magic, and that immersion should move people, not just impress them. So let's roll a short clips from my past freelance career work. What you're about to see is divided into 5 chapters. Each one explores a different way we are thinking the relationship between machines and imagination. We'll move through memories, sports, gamification, media and entertainment, and dreams. Each one shows a new side of what happens when art, data, and emotions collide. Let's start something that we all share. It's memories. They fade, they bend, they change every time we recall them, but now something is different. Technology is starting to letting us step inside those memories. With spatial computing, we can work through them, see them, feel it, almost touch it again. And maybe soon, we won't just remember what's gone. I was in China a few weeks ago, and I was in a hotel and stumbled upon to this quote by H.P. Lovecraft, and really caught me. It says, "All life is only a set of pictures in the brain, and there's no real difference between those born of real things and those born of inward dreamings. We always try to keep our memories alive, family albums on a shelf, slides no one opens, photos we scroll past. But a photo is flat. A video is only a fragment. They don't let us step into the moment." Think of it for a second. We have all them, right? All photo albums from VHS tapes, hard drives full of moments that we use to mean everything. Little pieces of our lives we keep because somehow they keep us. But they're flat. They're frozen. We can watch them, but we can never step back into them. You know this moment, right? The final, for real moment. One more export, one more render, one more version you swear it's the last. This is the real collective, artist consciousness. This was 2007 when emojis were squared, and every year's boss relive this beautiful moment. Yeah, thanks. I'm ready to forget the skinny jeans. Here's where it gets interesting. VR isn't just for games. It can actually train the brain. It helps people focus better, remember more, even feel happier. And some VR apps, they can create memories of moments that really never happened. But memory is fragile. It splits, it fades, its phases lose their names lose their stories. And behind that fragility, there is a real human cost. Over 50 million people live with dementia right now in the world. Every year, 10 million more join them. That's not data, it's friends, it's grandparents, it's family. This is my nonno. Actually, he was my nonno. He passed away a few months ago, dementia. And in his final days, something stayed with me. While working with AI and spatial computing, I realized that maybe one day I could step back into a moment with him. From a photo, from a fragment, a trace. It wouldn't bring him back, of course, but the thought of standing there again, hearing his voice again, feeling his presence, that thought still gave me peace. Like many of us actually, after a loss, I wanted to turn grief into something that meant something that could help others going through it too. And around that time, I was building the studio, and one thought kept coming back to me. What if we get good shape to a memory? Not through medicine, but through art. A way to show that memory isn't static. It breathes, it fades, it changes, just like us. And so at Rebellion, we began an experimental collection we call AI shader brains. The idea, obviously, was not to be medically accurate, but it was to ask, what does a memory look like when it began to break down? How we can turn something that has always been defined only as a disease into something that is more artistic, a way to see and feel memory in a new light. These experiments weren't just random visuals. They were data transformed into emotion. We started with structure like clinical reports, brand scan, X-rays, MRI slices, even anonymized neural patterns. Then we layered them with the imagery, letting the data evolve until science becomes like art. And this is the result of the three. On the left, we have Alzheimer, in the center, dementia, on the right, aging. Each one began as data, brain scans, X-rays. Then we evolved through shaders and machine learning. And you can almost see the disconnection, the fading synapses. The collapsed structure into a color. This is what it looks like when the mind starts to lose its shapes, not as a medical diagram, but as a feeling. So if this one is the brain how it really works, fragmented, fading, constantly rewriting itself, then maybe VR and AR can do more just than show us examples. Maybe they can help us feel them. And speaking of moments, let me show you an example. This is Mario. He tried the Apple Vision Pro for the very first time. He's an older man, not very techy. We loaded up on Apple's environment, and he put it on, and suddenly was standing on the surface of the moon. He just looked around, was completely shocked, and he said, "I never thought I would see something like this in my life." And at a certain point, he even started hallucinating a little, saying he saw snow on the ground. Of course, it wasn't so, it was the surface of the moon, and I'm sure, like, I'm swearing, like, this is a true story. Mario went home, and his wife was furious, like, where you have been? And we waited for you, like, forever. And Mario, that serious, was like, I went to the moon. Now, jokes aside, what happened with Mario was fascinating. Because even though it was virtual, his mind didn't care. The moment became memory, one that felt real, emotional, alive, and that's the turning point. With spatial computing, we're not just creating new memories. We're starting to rebuild the old ones. And moments we thought were lost forever can be now re-experienced, reimagined, even shared. This is a clip from one of the past editions of Kick Festival. What I'm doing here is taking that flat, like static footage and turning it into something special, a living memory. Now, imagine that with AI and spatial intelligence start working together when a simple video like this can be reconstructed into a 3D, fully 360 experience. You can stand inside that moment. Soon, memories won't just like be watched. Probably they're going to be relived, and this is something that we consider very, very interesting. Second chapter, sports has always been data, speed, strength, precision, but something is changing also in sports. What happens when data stops being numbers and start to being alive? Not just like obviously like tracking performance we're talking about, but like feeling it, turning data into pure human experience. But to understand that, we need to come back to the 1940.
24 of the world's top drivers meet at Silverstone for the Grand Prix of Europe. British ace Ridge Parnell of Derby is number 4 in the strong Italian Alfa Romeo team. With only 6 British cars included, attention is focused on Bob Gerrard and his well-known ERA. Our white hope in motor racing, the BRM, is only there on show. The King and Queen are among those who look it over. It's the first Grand Prix to be watched by reigning sovereign, and the royal party are there to wish the drivers luck, including Prince Bira of Siam.
This was the 1940, around the same time as the first Formula Ones. Look at the footage, it's 2 frames per second, shaky black and white, half the crowd in suits, almost everyone on the field bald. The quality was terrible, but that was the limit of technology back then, and still, it was magic, if you think about it. We go fast forward 20 years, the footage looks like a bit cleaner, the camera's a little bit sharper, but what really changed? Nothing. Same static angle, it's the same flight experience, same stories through basically like a rectangle. Jump to 1996, color speed, multiple camera angles. Senna was gone, but the broadcast looks like more alive, and yet, what really changed? Nothing. We're just like staring and watching, it's just like a flat screen. Now, the real question today is what's wrong with how we watch sports today? Well, the problem is actually like around there. Because it's basically like just numbers in the corners, a lap time here, safety car like there, and that's it. Every sport wants its own interface, its own way to tell the story, but the screen can keep up. And if we take Formula One, for example, people think it's a driver sport, it's a battle of speed. It's actually not, it's an engineer race. It's about aerodynamics, it's about tire wear, weather prediction, pit strategy, hundreds of micro decisions made by the team, moving us as one machine. And yet, on TV, we just see a few stats, a static UI. So how do we solve it? Well, it turns out that we already solved it. We solved it 30 years ago with games. We solved it with controllers, with HUDs, with custom interface that adapted to every game. So how we are going to bring this into live sports? We use a controller, right? We use a controller. No, we don't use a controller. Imagine if watching Formula One race in your living room, live car positions, floating around you, tire degradation, real-time weather swift. This is how sports is going to look like. Last year, LabZ by Blackstone's Infinite gave us a glimpse of that future. They built a prototype, a real-time 3D visualization of Formula One. Every car track live, every lap rendered in space. You can see tire wear, sector speed, even the weather condition. It wasn't obviously like prototype anymore. It was an experience you could step inside. And it's just obviously about racing. Like this is going to actually come for every sport. Like this one is like tabletop NBA. Every play, every dunk, every full stream live, and render in 3D on your table. You can pinch, you can zoom, you can rotate, even change your camera angle. For the first time, you're not basically watching basketball. You're literally like playing with it. And at Rebellium, we believe that everything will be gamified. Not to win points, but to spark emotion. It's not about leaderboards, it's about connection. And so the question is, what if every interface felt like play? What if interaction itself can tell a story? And our vision is quite simple. In a few years, with spatial computing, AR, and AI-driven spatial intelligence, everything we know will become interactive, more playful, more alive. And when AI begins to understand the space, not just objects, but every surface, every place, every moment becomes part of the game. Let's rewind for a second. Back to the year 2000. Sony released a wild commercial for the PlayStation 2, but instead of showing gameplay, they imagined far beyond. The PlayStation 9, set in the year 2078, a console made of holograms, brain links, and infinite words. Here we go.
New for 2078. PlayStation 9's new electronic spores tap straight into your adrenal gland. PS9 has improved retinal scanning. A mind control system. Holographic movie surround vision. And telepathic personal music. The ultimate just got better. PlayStation 9. Teleport yours today.
Wow. It's no secret, mixed reality is going to revolutionize industry. By 2030, but here's the bigger truth, we are the ones that is going to shape it. We are the architects of this transformation. The report says that $1.5 trillion is going to be added to the global economy by the end of the decade, and it's not just about numbers. It's healthcare, it's education, it's entertainment, it's architecture. Over 70% of the industry will be touched, changed, reimagined. You know what meta plan really is? It's like to take this one and make it completely obsolete. And in the next 5 years, the iPhone that everyone is holding right now will look like a beeper from the 2000. That's probably what we're heading. And that's how innovation moves, and what happens when glasses and spatial interfaces become our primary devices. Every rule of marketing, design, business will be rewritten. And we already see it coming. The moment these devices become thinner, lighter, and affordable, they'll spread like cars did century ago, like different brands, different models, but one shared reality. Right now, Meta is leading the glasses market until, obviously, Apple is going to step in next year, or maybe in 2. Just a month ago, they launched the new display glasses in collaboration with Ray-Ban, and we were lucky enough to work with them, developing the landing experience for the Vanguard and use some models with Oakley. So let's roll the Meta showreel clip.
Hey Meta, how am I doing?
You have ridden 54 miles.
Hey Meta, take a video.
Hey Meta, play my hike playlist.
From UI components to dynamic navigation, we built an entire design ecosystem, not just pages, but from logic. Many of these components were later simplified, adapted, or even reimagined to fit the campaign storytelling and marketing rhythm. And here's a short clip of the Wembley Experience landing. what's happening right now? The line between watching and experiencing is disappearing completely. We're stepping into a time where films, music, and stories, they're not things we consume anymore. We are going to live inside them. For decades, capturing reality was like looking like this, huge sets, heavy rigs, miles of cables. Back then, capturing reality meant building reality, one lens, one take, one light at a time. And this is what's instead happening today. Even digital is not different. We are traded cables for nodes and code. But the complexity in general stayed, like endless node trees, manual lighting, hours of render time, just to make something feel alive. Now, quick show of hands, like who never heard about nerf? All right. Gaussian splatting? Great, okay. This is the breakthrough that's happening almost under the radar at the moment. So let's start from here, NERF. It stands for Neural Radiance Field. And what it basically does is like learn how light travels throughout space, ray by ray, pixel by pixel. It's like teaching a computer to paint reality using photons. This one instead is the new technology. It's like the new way of seeing photogrammetry today with Gaussian splatting. And it changed everything. It's going to change everything in every sector. Instead of reconstructing reality point by point, it's basically throw splats, little translucent blobs of light and colors directly into the 3D space. Think of it as switching from pixel art to basically like impressionism. It started with the point cloud, just scattered dots in space. Then we move to Gaussians, these tiny translucent blobs of light. It doesn't render an image, it paints reality, one brushstroke of a light at a time. And this one is like Gaussian splatting in action. At first, it looks like a simple point cloud, very lightweight, easy to handle. But watch what happens as we increase the scale of each splat. They expand, they overlap, they begin to fill in the gaps. And suddenly, the cloud becomes a scene. Gaussian splatting is incredible. It's fast, it's immersive, and it's, without a doubt, going to shape the future of we build experience and virtual worlds. But here's the catch. Right now, it's not fully scalable. It's not easy modifiable. Splats behave very differently than traditional geometry or physics. And the limitation is that what's the next step. For centuries, in this case, museums have been at the center of our cultural efforts. They have preserved art, history, knowledge, the things that define us. And we go there to stand in front of paintings, to imagine what the artist saw, what they felt, what they created, something like this. But the truth is that paintings doesn't talk back. They just sit there. We stare at them, we interpret them. Someone is sleeping? Okay. So what museum does? So what museum? Are you good? No worries. Take your time. So what they do, they give us this beautiful guide headset, very comfortable to wear, and completely no fucking sense. This is how they also sounds.
This is Vermeer painted in 1658. Notice the brush stroke.
Right? At Rebellion, we think that's completely different. What if art didn't have to stay flat? What if that with AI and mixed reality, we could make paintings reborn as data? And if they could be reborn as data, then they could come alive again. They could surround us, they can speak to us, they can reveal themselves in a way never possible. So how machine intelligence will reshape cultural memory? So we tried. We took Vermeer's Milkmaid, one of the most iconic paintings in the world. We extracted the details frame by frame, reconstructed the point cloud, rendered with particles and WebGPU, and suddenly the Milkmaid was no longer a flat canvas. It was a 3D environment. When we shared this, it went viral. It spread fast. People, everyone, to experience this, not just watching it, step inside. And we understood something very, 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 very important. That when art becomes data, it breaks free from the frame It's no longer something that you look at, but it's something that completely you can live, and that's how it looks. This is me experimenting with the Vision Pro. What you're seeing here is not a video, it's a living piece of art suspended inside a spatial window. You can walk around it, see it from every angle. Imagine having this at home, not as a flat painting, but as a 3D canvas that you can step closer to, interact with, even talk to. That's where we're heading. We are standing at the edge of a new era, and here where we, as digital creators, digital creators become the architect of the entire worlds. This isn't just about technologies, the foundation of a new reality, and soon, we won't just design interface, we'll design spaces. Virtual stories that you can walk through. In the cinema industry, this is what mixed reality will do, and I'm not saying the fact that Wong from the MCU was standing outside of my place, but I'm talking about the beauty of working everywhere from the world, but mostly do it in 3D and test it in a physical space. This blind mirror in action where you can get digital creation in volume or immersive view. And yeah, I tried drawing Frosty Mario in the canal. I can confirm he's still alive. But this isn't just about numbers, it's about people, it's about us. It's empowering elementary students to walk through the Roman Empire in their classroom, or making a university student fell in love with the beauty of atoms. It's about architects reshaping city. It's about doctors saving lives remotely. And creatives building the future through the fusion of reality and imagination. In a moment, we are going to experience how the process of creating digital experience in a few years will become completely reshaped by AI and mixed reality, a craft that we like to call generative reality experiences. And what you're going to see, it's a real case project scenario we tested as a simulation a few months ago, where we use almost entirely AI to simulate the process of creating spatial mood boarding and immersive views for a potential client. So let's step into the future.
Now, let's step into the mind of a machine. Right now, the AI is analyzing a decade of iconic window displays, thousands of images blending art, design, and architecture. It's preparing to generate designs born from dreams, reimagining through technology.
All right. Show me the data that you have analyzed. On the left, you're going to show me the raw inputs, and on the right, you're going to show me the possibilities. Make it easy to follow, please.
There you go. The grid displays input archives, colors, and data viz, all safely regenerated to avoid copyright issues. Now, what are we trying to create here?
That's a good question. So the goal is actually to create a window of installation for a fashion house in New York. Elegant, Christmas vibes. Why we don't create like some 3D models and textures out of it, please?
Got it, coming right up. I'll use the analyzed data to generate some 3D concepts and potential materials based on your inputs.
That's great, thanks. All right, I'm starting to see something interesting. Why you don't create some mesh out of it?
Love it. Let me roll up my virtual sleeves and get to work. Give me a moment to pull this off, please.
A wheel. Interesting, Ghostbusters. All right. Okay, why we don't put actually everything inside one single scene? That's great. Bring me inside immersive view, please. This is great. All right. You know what? It's almost Christmas. Let's snow everything, please. Dreams are where data meets desire, where logic fades and emotion takes over. And now AI is starting to dream with us. It doesn't sleep, but it imagines, it hallucinates. And maybe that's how we'll finally understand ourselves, through dreams of our own machines. Scientists are learning how to engineer dreams. They're using AI and VR to step inside the subconscious. They have altered lucid dreams. They dissolve the sense of itself. They're proving that emotions, memories, and even identity can be designed. And that's the turning point. Because the moment we can build dreams, the line between imagination and reality has gone. I know some of us, obviously, can see AI differently, but if we stop looking at it as a threat for a moment, we can see it from what it really is: an extension of us, an extension of our subconscious, of our imagination. And it learns from our past, it predicts what comes next, but there is still one thing that doesn't have its own spark of awareness, at least not yet. AI is powerful, almost magical, but if we don't understand how it thinks, how it predicts, how it interprets, and how it connects patterns, it can start to hallucinate. And sometimes it doesn't even need a rug to start tripping. It's like watching a machine dream in real time. One moment is perfectly logical, and the next is a melting giraffe playing the violin underwater. It's beautiful, it's terrifying, and sometimes just deeply, deeply weird. All right, a quick show of hands. Who never saw Inception? Christopher Nolan, the movie. Really? Okay. So there is this scene where actually there is this addict of dreams. It looks like a science fiction, but now it's starting to look like a preview, because today technology is getting closer to that very idea. So the question isn't if we step inside our dreams, it's when. And when we do, what happens if the dreams start to feeling better than reality? Every one of us dreams. Sometimes it's no sense, sometimes it's genius, but what's happening in our brain when we dream or when we imagine something that is totally new? Our brains has two big players in the process. One is the default mode network, is the DMN. Think of it as the dreamer, the one that basically generates wild ideas. The other one is the ECN, the executive control network. Is the critic, the planner, is the one that turns basically idea and dreams into actions. Think about the DMN as the part of your brain that lights up when you're not actually focused on something. It's the network basically behind daydreaming. It's imagination and making unexpected connection. And if you ever have a random idea in the shower while staring out of the window, that's exactly the DM doing its work. The ECN instead is basically the opposite. It kicks when you need to focus, to plan, to evaluate, to take action. And if the DMN is the brainstormer, then the ECN is the project manager. They say, okay, so out of all these crazy ideas, which one actually makes sense and how we do execute them? You see, AI today is really good at patterns. It doesn't dreams, it doesn't mind wander, it doesn't suddenly connect to random ideas out of nowhere. Instead, it waits. It waits for us to tell what to do. It's great at analyzing, optimizing, but it doesn't have the spark, the inner dreamer that steers chaos into creativity. That's why we feel like AI is brilliant at remixing what already exists, but not that great at truly dreaming up unexpected unless the AI is fed by data. So what we did, we took thousands of images of kick past editions, real faces, real stories, and asked, what happens if we let the machine see what we felt? What you're seeing here is not just random. It's emotion, it's reassembled, it's a memory seen through the eyes of AI. And here's how it works. We started from a single image, one memory, one fragment, then we wrap it into a 3D. We gave it volume, space, and depth, and from there, we extracted its color DNA, a sprite sheet of emotion, and finally, we built an environment, a cone, that we can actually step inside of this. Not a render, not a simulation, an emotion that turned into architecture. Now, imaging applied this process for dozens of images of past Kick Festival editions. Every image you're seeing here, every fragment, every note, is a piece of that collective memory. Each component is data, is visuals, is emotional, is algorithm. Every photo, every code input, every pixel is part of a leading system. This is what it looks like when creativity and computation start speaking the same language. We're not talking about flat screens anymore. Spatial computing lives in 3 dimensions. So what we did was simple. We turned every flat squares into a 3D rectangular particles. Every frames become a piece of that environment. Alive, dimensional, spatial. It's a shift from pixels to presence, from viewing to being inside. And finally, we processed the light itself. We took the original image, we blurred it, we diffused it, and let it breathe. So the color could evolve like a memory. So let's step into the motion. Right now, I'm inside a spatial emotion completely. What you're seeing here is basically like data become feeling. I'm inside of like past edition festivals, images and color palettes. Thank you. The tech digital industry is a very complicated industry. It's a very noisy industry, and we're not going to get many chances to make people remember what we built, unless obviously you're called Disney. So we have to be very clear about what we want to know about us. And the way to do that is not to talk about pixel density, it's not to talk about headset specs, it's not to argue what shaders run faster. For years, tech tried to convince people that VR headsets were the future, but they come too early. They come without AI, they come without spatial intelligence. And recently, something shifted. The story stopped being about hardware, it becomes about immersion, about the feeling of being inside. And maybe the best example is games. They didn't stay trapped on consoles. They moved beyond hardware, beyond screen. They become about play, about identity, about turning interaction itself into a game. So people want to know who Revelium is, and what we want to stand for, where do we fit in this next chapter. And our core, our value is simple. We believe that technology should feel like magic, and that immersion should move people, not just impress them. That AI, spatial computing, and mixed reality aren't about specs, they're about emotions. And we believe that in this noisy industry, only experience that Dutch people will survive, and the one crazy enough to think that can turn code to an emotion are the ones we actually will. Thank you so very much.